happen. We have the total cost curve. We've already talked about it. So now, okay, engage. Here we go. All right, so the total cost curve starts off very flat and it's steep, right? What's the cause for that?
Did we cover the total cost curve?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we did. Sorry.
Okay, so what causes that? What's that effect caused by?
Output going up.
Diminishing
Marginal utility.
Okay, and if you don't know the answer on the exam and you're like sitting there going, it's either this or that, go with diminishing marginal product. It's a good answer. If this guy is A, blue, B, diminishing marginal product, don't put that. That's not good. All right, so somebody tell me, so diminishing marginal product causes the total cost curve to go up. That's the right answer. Somebody extrapolate on that. Tell me what, it is diminishing marginal product, but tell me what's happening. Why is it that as we have a fixed cost, zero output, $30, right? As we add a worker, we get an addition, our marginal product is 50 units or 50 cookies or whatever it was, right? As we add another worker, the cost of that worker is also $10 and we get additional marginal product of 40 units. So when you're looking at the total cost curve, it's diminishing marginal product is the right answer, but what's effectively happening here?
People start dumping into each other.
That's the definition of diminishing marginal product. Yeah, that's correct. But why is the total cost curve, why is it increasing as we increase output? Diminishing marginal product is the right answer, but somebody tell me what that is.
You're paying more for labor.
Don't define it, but tell me why the cost curve is getting steep.
You're paying more for labor.
You're not.
More impacted by variable costs.
Okay, and what did you say? What did you say there?
I was just saying that you're paying more labor.
Yeah, okay, you're
More
paying
in labor.
more, but actually the labor cost is consistent. It's $10, $10. So that's not really,
But you're paying more in total though. It's
explain what you mean.
It's cumulatively you're paying, when you were only producing 50, you were only paying $40 in labor. So wait, hold on. Backwards. So as you add labor, you're paying more total labor, but you're receiving more revenue back from the total amount of products you're making.
Okay, well, revenue we haven't talked about yet.
Okay.
So, I kind of understand what you're saying. Let's kind of keep going with that. Go ahead. That's true. It goes up in a linear way, right? Each labor costs $10, $10. So why is it that the total cost curve is increasing? There's a real specific answer here. Go ahead.
Is it because you're paying two people to do the same job at once?
Kinda.
Well, it's because the total cost is going up and the quantity of output is going up, but it's not going up by as much each interval.
Okay, so
that's why it starts to curve.
totally right. And so what? Go ahead, Ray.
No, I'm
okay.
leading as well, sorry.
So what's happening is that we're paying $10 a worker, $10, $10, $10, right? Everybody's cool with that. But what happens is, due to diminishing marginal product, the output per each worker is increasing but at a decreasing rate. And effectively, each unit is costing us more and more because the first worker, getting paid $10 and they're producing 50 units. Second worker, getting paid $10 but they're only producing us 40 units. So the cost per unit is going up. Does that make sense? Now the third worker, now that we're getting additional 30 units of output, we're still paying $10. So now the cost of each unit is increasing again. Does that make sense? And it's not really an effect outside of other than each worker is producing less and less but getting paid exactly the same. And that translates into each unit costing more and more and more. Is that clear? So as a result of that, the total cost curve starts off very flat. We have diminishing marginal product and the total cost curve starts to go up. And it's not because the cost per worker is going up. It's just that each worker is producing less and less and less and getting paid exactly the same. Make sense? All right. Let's see here. Total cost. Somebody define total cost. Let me back up. Somebody define fixed cost. Let's do it that way. What's fixed cost? Go ahead.
Costs you always have to pay rent and
Machinery
machinery costs.
Okay, and how? So you're right. And then how do you define that? I mean, what is a fixed cost in a sentence? What you said is right, but let's try to distill it down to
Costs
something
always,
that,
like,
They don't vary.
They don't change without.
they don't vary, yeah.
it doesn't vary, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it doesn't vary with the quantity of output.
Okay, so if you make one or you make 10,000 cookies, your fixed cost stays the same. It's just the rent, like you said, the rent of the building or something that doesn't change. Variable costs, define it.
Costs that vary with quantity of output produced.
Okay. Sorry. Wow, yeah,
Right off the
okay, good.
Price goes up as output goes up.
Yeah, so it's as your output increases, then the variable cost will increase. It also can, as your output decreases, then of course your variable cost will start to fall, right? And variable cost is, labor, raw materials that go into making cookies, the flour and the sugar and all that stuff. Okay. So we define those. Somebody defined average costs, and it's applicable to all three. So what's average costs? And it's average fixed, average variable, average total. What is that defined?
The total divided by the units.
Okay, good. So it's your cost relatively, whatever, the variable or the fixed or the total. And it's just that divided by the units of output. So if you have a fixed cost of $3, you make 2 units, then the average variable cost is going to be, average fixed cost will be $1.50. All right, now back to these here. And this is kind of where we're getting to where we left off. Tell me about average fixed cost. What does it do and why?
It falls very fast at first and continues to fall, but at a decreasing rate.
Why?
That I don't know.
Okay. Ha ha!
Oh,
Because
snap.
the cost stays the same.
Okay, so yeah, the cost stays the same, and what you said is right. We're just going to add into it. So, average fixed cost, what did you say, falls very fast at
Falls
first?
fast and continues to fall, but at a decreasing rate.
Okay, and then now what did you say?
It's because the cost always stays the same, but it's divided into the number of output.
Yeah. Okay, so as you add more units, then what happens is your fixed cost is fixed, and then it's getting divided by, in this case, 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4, and so forth. All right, and so what's the most, I think Sarah already said it, but what's the most important factor there, the most important characteristic?
Fixed cost becomes less impacted as it goes by, the curve is less impacted by fixed cost.
Say that again, I kind of missed it. Say it again, sorry, Rick.
Fixed cost is less, the curve is less impacted by fixed cost as it goes, curves down the scale.
Okay, so let's add on, not that that's incorrect, let me just add on to try to clarify it, yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, I think it's, because I think that, from what I remember, it's when variable cost is more than fixed cost, so it's higher than fixed cost in the graph.
You're kind of a little bit ahead. What you said is accurate. It's just we're actually not even that far yet, but you're ahead of the game. What about average fixed cost? What's the characteristic that's important here?
It never goes to
Very
0.
fast at first.
Yeah, it falls very quickly at first because it's getting divided by 2 and then 3. So the fixed cost in this case is $3, and it gets divided by 2, and it literally gets cut in half, right? If you add another unit up to 3, now it's getting divided by 3, and so it falls very quickly at first, but then starts to slow down. Kind of a summation of what you guys all said. So here's your average fixed cost up here in units 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. All right, and then we start off at $3. This will actually go a little bit higher. So our first unit number 1, our average fixed cost is $3, right? It's just fixed cost divided by 1. Right, then the second unit, it falls, bam, it goes way down because it's getting divided in half. All right, and then the third unit gets divided by 3, so it starts to flatten out, and this, is kind of chunky, but you get the idea. And then what happens is it continues to fall, and average fixed cost. So the characteristic that's important is that it falls very quickly at first, then it continues to fall forever. It's not ever going to change, but the difference between $3 divided by 100 and $3 divided by 101 is negligible. Very small, right? Okay, so average fixed cost falls very fast at first, continues to fall always, but at a decreasing rate. Cool? All right, average variable cost. I think it's like 30 cents is the first one, I think. So tell me about average variable cost. What's the characteristic that's important to us?
Rises slowly at first and continues to rise at an increasing rate.
Okay, so average variable cost is low to begin with, because obviously if it's related to the units of output, you have no output, then your variable cost is zero. As you start to increase, of course, you start to add on variable costs. All right. So average variable cost starts off very low. All right. And then go ahead, sir. You said it already, but let's
Which part?
just kind of
Continues to rise at an increasing rate, increases at an increasing rate due to diminishing marginal product.
Okay, good. So average variable cost starts off low because 0 units of output, 0 variable cost. Add 1 unit, then you start to get variable cost, and it's corollary with the units of output. As you add more output, you get more variable cost. Okay, no problem. And then average variable cost increases, and is kind of linear here, but it increases at an increasing rate. And what's the reason?
Diminishing marginal product.
Diminishing marginal product. Okay, so you have average variable cost here. So average variable cost starts off very low, and then as you add more units, it increases at an increasing rate due to diminishing marginal product. No problem. All right. Average total cost is all it is just the summation of this and this. So the average total cost for 1 unit is fixed cost, which is $3, variable cost, which is 30 cents. So the average total cost for your first unit is $3.30. It's just this plus this.
So each point, like that lines up, is just you add them together, and that's your average for that specific unit.
Say that again, sorry.
So like each point that you go across, like if you're going across and you had each line,
Right,
like each
you're
point,
talking like this.
yeah,
Yeah.
you would just add the 2 points together.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. And it, I mean, there's a couple ways to approach it. You can just take the total cost and divide by units of output. I mean, there's however you want to approach it, but what you said is absolutely right.
Okay.
Okay, and so the first unit is $3.30. An average total cost, as you start to produce, average total cost falls at first. Why?
Is this more impacted by the average fixed cost?
Average fixed cost is way above average variable cost, right? And so as this cost is falling, then if you combine A and B or fixed and variable cost, you put them together. And so the curve that's taking precedence is the average fixed cost because it's falling faster than this is rising at this point, right? So it's just the summation of this, and here it is for the next unit, it's here, and so forth. All right, and so it keeps falling until what happens?
You
Get
get
the
to
efficiency
efficiency.
Yeah, okay, good. I wasn't even thinking about that, but you're right. So right at some point where this is minimized, where it's as low as it's going to go, all right, so you get the efficient scale. All right, so the efficient scale is when the summation of average variable and average fixed cost is as low as it's going to get. All right, so it reaches the efficient scale, and there's kind of 4 things that happen at efficient scale. Let's see if we can remember them all, if I can remember them all. Okay, so what's the first thing to note about efficient scale? What happens with the average fixed and average variable cost?
They intersect.
They intersect, right. So this is the efficient scale is the point where average fixed and average variable cost intersect. Okay, number 1. What's another thing about efficient scale that's worth noting?
Total cost is minimized.
Okay, so the average total cost is minimized, right? That's definitely important. What else happens? Yeah.
It starts to rise after it reaches
Why?
scale. Because it becomes more impacted by variable costs.
Okay, good. So now, once we've reached the efficient scale, then our average total cost starts to go back up. And what Rick said is right, is because average total cost is now being more impacted by average variable rather than average fixed. Because at this point, the average variable cost is now rising faster than the average fixed cost is falling. Right? Everybody okay with that? Anything else that's worth noting here? Looking at the marginal cost and the average total cost, what else happens? The marginal cost and the average total cost. What happens when we reach the efficient scale?
It's like the ideal scenario.
Say it again?
It's like the ideal scenario.
Yeah, it is, because our costs are minimized, yeah, totally. Now going back to marginal cost, what happens with average total and marginal cost at the efficient scale? cost and marginal cost at the efficient scale are the same. All right, so the marginal cost is equal to the average total cost at the efficient scale. Okay, and we'll talk more about that in a second. Right, so you have your marginal cost curve, and this isn't a great graph, but effectively the marginal cost curve comes up like this. And the marginal cost curve intersects with the average total cost curve at the efficient scale. Now that plays a bigger role in a minute. We'll get to that a little bit later.
Is
So
there a
far, so
way?
good?
Is there a way to, like, as a business person, adjust where your efficient scale would be?
Totally. That's exactly what we're gonna talk about.
Okay.
This is what really this class is all about. And all the accounts, and I don't want to diss anybody out, I really truly don't. I mean, that's the last thing I'd want to do. But to me, to be honest with you, the difference between economics and accounting is really simple. Is that accountants are keeping track of the numbers and, doing that accounting stuff. The economics people are the business owners. They're the ones that are making the decisions based on what the accountants can generate. So the accountants just sort of report it. And it's not an unimportant job, but that's what they do. They report it. The economists are the ones saying we need to adjust our output. I've always looked at it that way. So basically the accountants work for the economists.
But if the economists didn't have the numbers, they wouldn't be able to do anything.
Oh yeah, they're definitely interrelated, There's no doubt about it. You're not texting, are you?
No, I got a PowerPoint on the phone.
Okay. All right, so anyway, I don't want to it's not that it's unimportant for sure, you know what I'm saying? It's just that I've always seen it sort of like the accountants just report, not unimportant. I don't want to disrespect anybody because it's very important, good jobs and all that stuff. But, the economists are the one that have their name on the door.
Yeah, accountants know the loopholes.
Yeah, not unimportant. I mean,
Yeah.
very important stuff. But then the economist comes in and says, just show me the numbers so I can make the decisions.
You said when marginal cost and average total cost are equal, that's the efficient scale.
Marginal cost, and we'll talk more about marginal cost in a little bit. There's more to it that's significant. I had something to say there, just slipped out of my head. That'll come back. All right, so everybody okay with that? Pretty good? Pretty easy? All right, that's like the holy grail of economics, microeconomics, is that. Understanding this and the relationship between the two. I mean, if you got that and you're cool with it, and I could explain it back, what you will on your exam, when you go to, wherever university and you're sitting with 480 of your closest new friends, I would argue that 1 in 200 have any concept of this. And if you got it, that's the fundamental of what microeconomics is. If you understand that, you're good. The rest will follow. Okay, marginal cost. Somebody define marginal cost for me.
Cost of making one more unit.
Okay, cost of making one more unit. Is marginal cost and average variable cost the same?
No.
Okay, so marginal cost is what it costs to make one more unit. Average variable cost is the average of the variable cost. And notice here that the variable cost, where's that? So the variable cost is $30, $80, $50. So the average of, like, say, 2 units is just 80 cents divided by 2. So your average variable cost is 40 cents, somewhere over here. Okay, but notice also that the marginal cost is rising faster than the average variable cost. And we'll talk more about that in a minute. All right, so everybody see where the marginal cost is coming from? So the marginal cost for the first unit is 30. Marginal cost for the second unit is 50 and 70 and so forth. Nice linear. I mean, that's not the rate. The real world isn't like that, but that's how it is. Okay. Any questions? Good? So far, so good? All right. We covered this. We defined this. Everybody okay with that? You don't have to know that. This is just a table showing the marginal cost, 30, 50, 70, and so forth. Okay, total cost curve. Real quick, somebody tell me, why does total cost curve, what does it do and why? Total cost curve, what's the properties? We just talked about it. What is it?
Rises quickly and increases at just like a slowly. Is that right? Did I say that right? Sorry.
That's what you get for listening to Whitesnake. It messes up your brain.
You break down
so average total cost, or total cost, sorry, increases at an increasing rate due to,
Diminishing marginal product.
there you go. All right. And I'll play this through, and this is always fun to watch students. You guys not so much, I don't think, but in so much as it's pretty clear, I think, to everybody here. This is what we're about to look at, and here you go. Total cost curve increases at an increasing rate due to diminishing marginal product. Average total cost falls at first, bottoms out somewhere at the efficient scale, and then starts to go up. Again, I know we just did this, but tell me again real quick, just in a sentence, why does it do that? Why does it U-shape like that? I know we just talked about it, but one more time.
Which one is that average total cost?
Okay, well, why does it fall at first again? I realize we just talked about this.
It's because it's impacted by average fixed cost.
Okay, average fixed cost is taking a precedent. Then it reaches some point where the average variable cost catches up with average fixed cost, and it starts to rise. So as a result of that, average total cost curve is U-shaped, all right, and it bottoms out at the efficient scale. All right, average fixed cost falls very fast at first and then starts to slow down. Does the average fixed cost ever start to go back up?
No.
Okay, it falls forever. It just gets divided by, 10, 20, 30, whatever. So it continues to fall, but at a decreasing rate. I wish they didn't do it in this order. Okay, average variable cost starts off very low and increases at an increasing rate due to diminishing marginal product. Piece of cake. Marginal cost curve. Again, we'll talk more about marginal cost when we get into the types of industries, meaning monopoly versus PC. We'll talk more about it, but everybody understand the concept anyway. So marginal cost is just what it costs to make one more unit. Increases at an increasing rate due to. Right. Perfect. All right. Let me see if there's anything new here. I don't think so. We covered it all. All right, so let me just go through this real fast. What time is it? 30? 35? What is it?
10:20. It's 10:30 technically.
It's 10:35 on that clock.
So that means it's 10:35 to me. All right, just real fast. This is nothing new. Marginal cost curve, what it costs to produce one more unit. Sorry, yeah, that's right, marginal cost. The average total cost curve is U-shaped because it's impacted by average fixed and then by average variable. We just talked about that. Average total cost declines because it's being more impacted by average fixed. Average total cost starts to go up because of the average variable cost catching up. Bottom of the U-shaped average total cost curve is called the efficient scale, where your total costs are minimized. Relationship, we'll talk more about this later, but average total cost and marginal cost are related in so much as the efficient scale is where marginal cost goes through the average total cost curve. This is probably worth, maybe get to that. Efficient scale, we know that. And we know all this. So any questions about any of that? That's like microeconomics 101
Why
right
is
there.
it called the efficient scale?
Because, well, you tell me, not class tell me. Why is it called the efficient scale?
It's the most efficient way.
That's where total cost is.
Like the
That was the worst
equilibrium.
answer ever.
Total cost is minimized. Total cost is minimized.
You hurt my feelings
Yeah.
very deeply.
I cut deep.
You thought
I'm just kidding.
I'm suing.
You know what? You guys, hold on, we're not done. Hold on. Everybody's like, all right, it's the efficient time to go. Yesterday, I taught in this classroom. I taught an Outwell 50 minutes, and I stood up here and blabbered on for 50 minutes with my fly down. And not one person in the class, not one person was like. It's like, if my fly's down, get my back and tell me about it. Jeez, you guys are dumb. They were just like, look at the tool up there.
That's awesome.
It's not awesome. It was hurtful. Any questions before we go? One little last last kind of footnote here is that we're on the horizon for exam 2. We're getting there. We're going to do PC and Monopoly, which is now the application of the revenue side of things. We'll start that on Thursday. So it's coming. I don't know, a couple weeks. We'll narrow it down as we get closer. Anything else?
Videos are up.
Goodbye.
Next month.